Hey, it's Dorleen, and today we're going to be making some funky and fun cards. So right now I'm just kind of spanning over my desk. There's just a ton of stuff everywhere. What I tried to do is I separated in piles by color categories, and these papers are just a variety of things. They're book pages, they're gel prints, they're scraps of scrapbooking papers, they're pieces of paper or different like tapes and things like that that I use to soak up extra medium from other projects. There's just a little bit of everything. I do try to keep them separated by color because it does make it easier when I'm adding these type of things. So basically what I do is I try to put at least two of these prettied papers, at least one piece of book paper, whether it has printing or it's just plain, and then a focal image. Now that black strip that I just peeled off, you saw me flip over. It was part of a packaging from one of the stencils that I bought. And originally I was going to toss it, but it was so pretty and shiny. And I thought, that's just perfect. Because in my mind, I was thinking I could just use black cardstock, but why use your cardstock when you have this resource and it's free? So every page, or excuse me, card front is going to have, like I said, 2, 3, sometimes more to fill the card front of this different papers. And like here, I've got that gorgeous green stenciled piece to the right. And so the piece that I'm tearing right now, I figured it coordinated because it had a lot of green with it. And even though that's really kind of pastel-y and feminine in my mind, it still goes with this kind of funkiness that I'm doing because it's got these really fun patterns. And that paper on the right, no, excuse me, on the left, was just, I was working on in my junk journal, and I had a lot of medium left. And you know from watching my videos, I hate wasting mediums. And I just have also a stack of random like kind of junk papers. A lot of it's just junk mail or other things that I'm just going to throw out. So I just splotch the paint on there, whether I do circles or whatever. And that green paper that I'm adhering right now was kind of the same thing. I cut a bunch of leaves out using my Cricut, and they were so close together that they created a stencil. So I kept that stencil, and at another project I had a lot of green paint left over, and I just used that within that stencil. And that black leafy image, I just cut it out from some leftover black scrapbooking paper, which you can see on the upper right. And when I first cut it, it was really thick, and I just didn't like it. And I was just freehanding it, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't like it. But what I ended up doing was cutting inside it. So I made a thinner branch, I'm going to call it. And you can see that on the screen right now. It's kind of in the middle to the right next to all those funky circles that I also cut out of the scrapbook paper. And so I have that little branch, and then I also had what I used earlier, which, you know, you did see a little while ago. And I'm just playing with paper, trying not to be so overwhelming with color, but at the same time, we want it to be fun and funky, right? So, I don't know. I'm definitely not an art major or anything like that. But if it's pleasing to my eye, it's got to be pleasing to others, or at least that's the way I look at it. And then this right here is a book page. Again, I was just, trying out stencils, or maybe even trying out a pen. I just put them on these papers, and then you keep them for this type of thing. But that book was a paperback that my sister bought at a yard sale for $0.25. She read it. I read it. She said I didn't want it back, toss it. I didn't want to toss it. So I do that every so often. I'll just grab a sheet and, again, use it to, sop up extra medium. Sometimes I'll just use the book paper just straight out of the book and tear a piece and put it on. So you'll see a variety like that too. But right now I'm just, like I said, I'm just creating these card fronts. So this is just your standard A2 card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm just filling them up, really. And just trying to make it as eye-pleasing as possible. Again, adding at least 2, 3 colored papers, at least 1 book print paper, and then a focal image. And so once I do that, you'll see me, and I'm grabbing, this is a black gel pen. Later, you'll see me use my Posca paint pen. I don't know why I'm using the gel pen. I was probably testing because I have, like, you could see them to the right. There's like 4 or 5, and I don't know which ones work and which ones don't. And sometimes they work one day and they don't the next day. I'm no good with white pens. But I'm just going through and I'm just kind of following the images that are on the papers that I chose. And I'm just adding marks, drawing circles, really no rhyme or reason. Right now I'm dripping some paint, some white paint, and that white paint is something that I just a homemade remedy with just, part water, part acrylic paint, and just in a spray bottle. Oh, here's my white Posca pen. And, again, I'm just kind of following what the images that are on there. And those little, I'm going to call them moons, excuse me. And aren't those fun? Again, those are left over from when I was cutting out those circles. And I could have tossed them, but then I looked at it and went, hey, if I put them in order, it's just, looking at something differently, and everything's a treasure, right? So, I'm just messing around. And if I don't like it, the worst that's going to happen is I'm going to either paint over it with white and start all over, or toss it. It's really not that big of a deal. But, I hope you like what I'm doing so far. Please give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this video. And if you're not already, you can hit that subscribe button below. And I try to do at least one video a week. And I'm enjoying myself, and I hope that you guys enjoy them too. So with this gold Posca paint pen, I'm following the stencil on the paper. You can see me doing that, and that's a great way to start. If you look at something and think, I don't know where to put marks, do something like that. Use what you have on your canvas. When I was doing that, I thought, oh, maybe I'll do some more stencils with the pen, and so that's why I decided to do that there. I added tried to get some gold drips out of that. And then this little trick right here is kind of my go-to. You'll see me do this a lot, even in my scrapbooking, where I'm not sure what it needs, so I'll outline it really thin with a black marker, and I do little scribbles so it almost looks like you're sewing and your thread got away from you a little bit. Sorry. Oh, here's what I was talking about. So I cut that other stem out of that thicker one, but look at it, isn't that fun? Oh, I love it. So each one of these cards has some black splatters, white splatters. Some of them have both. And you'll see me, I tried to do the same thing on each card, even though it's hard to tell because each card looks so unique. But again, I have like 2 or 3 of these bright pattern papers, at least one book page, and then I added some black, which was an afterthought, and then a focal image. And I stuck with gold. I didn't, gold, black, and white. Those are really the only colors I added. So it was still like a neutrals for them. And I'm just, like I said, scribbling. I'm adding, trying to have fun and not think too hard about it, because I want these to be fun, funky, just something cool. And I was mentioning below that down in the information box below, I will have a link to my direct blog link for this, and also my blog in general. It will also have my Instagram account. So you can go to my blog and I'll have a list of the items that I used. Now, of course, a lot of the stuff is just things that I have in my stash. But as far as like the pens and the stencils, things that I can give a name to, I will definitely name in my blog if you're interested in any of these products. And right now, again, if you're a follower of mine, or you're a subscriber of mine, sorry, wrong social media platform, I use the script stamp for everything. This is probably my number one favorite thing. And I'm just randomly putting, again, this is, in a sense, it's like making marks because it's just everywhere. And I did do some sewing on this, so I was really kind of surprised because I don't normally sew on my paper. So you see me pointing that out. And these are I want to say final cards. They're just not on the card bases yet. And I just, added some little words. These are those Tim Holtz small words or something like that. I can't remember exactly which book it is, but I'll have it down in my blog. I put those in there. I ended up putting some more white paint on this because it was almost too bright in that upper right hand corner, so you'll see me smudge that. But aren't they so fun? I hope you enjoy them. I really do. Look at right there, I thought that I had sewn on it, and then I realized that was actually just my hand drawing. So that's how good I tricked myself. I thought that was pretty funny. So if you do like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, and I will see you next week. Bye.